If I could put all the adults in the world onto an airplane and fly them to the Czech Republic for a day to drink wine and eat arugula and Brussels sprouts, I wonder what I would do. I'd drive a car to the junkyard to find parts to make a motor. I'd collect gears and axles and firing plugs and at least one fancy rotor. I would disassemble the car I drove and use a few dozen of those parts to build a fancy little scooter with a handle brake and a kickstart. I would build a nice electric stove with the pieces left over from the car so that later I could cook some pancakes and heat up a couple fruit bars. I'd hitch that stove to the back of my scooter and maybe attach some wheels. Then ride off to the IHOP where I'd cook myself up a meal. 'Cause all the adults are gone, remember? They're all in the Czech Republic. The directions for making pancakes require one egg at least. So I'd have to stop off at a farm nearby to prepare my pancake feast. But I do not like to steal, so first I'd stop off at the bank and withdraw $1,000 and then fill up my scooter's tank. With the money I had left over, probably $9.99.75, I continue on to that farm and drop my money off inside. I'd pick out 30 chickens and wait for one of them to lay an egg that I can use to cook my pancakes the proper way, which is with one egg, according to the secret recipe pasted to the back of IHOP's swinging kitchen doors. By the time I got back to the IHOP, I'd be all out of money. Realized I'd have to leave an IOU for the syrup and the honey. I'd have to borrow some pancake mix, but I would have the egg for my hen, and I'd cook 3 pancakes on my electric stove and eat them there and then. I'd only make 3 because I don't want to waste time, you know. Then I'd ride my scooter along the road till I found a fireworks stand. I'd take the fuse out of one of those fireworks and take it home and plan to build a rocket out of paper towel rolls and an engine tube of baking powder. Then I'd build an explosive device inside so the experience would be even louder. I think I'd fire that rocket I built into the biggest brick wall I could find. And when that rocket hit that wall and exploded, well, none of the adults would mind. Now, I've always had an interest in human anatomy, especially in the brain. So after I watched my rocket explode, I'd jump aboard an Amtrak train. I would disembark in Boston and then walk to Harvard's medical school and hope the adults had left the brains out so I could measure them with the slide rule. And then I'd ride the train back home to my house and my head would hit the pillow hard. But first I'd wash off the grease from the gears and the axles at the junkyard. And maybe I'd tinker with an iPhone and play with all the different ringtones. I would search for brand new apps and drawings of snake and alligator bones. I would use the voice search function to look at monsters from the deep. I'd play Angry Birds, a little Pac-Man, then disassemble it and fall asleep. And that would be the end of my day, you know. All in all, a wonderful experience full of discovery and excitement. And I guess looking back on it, it probably would have made more sense to keep the car in one piece so that I could drive that instead of the scooter. And IHOP probably has a stove, so I probably don't need to build one. Now that I think about it, they probably have eggs too, huh? Well, that would have saved some time. Come to think of it, instead of building a rocket, I could just fire off some of those pre-built rockets they have at the fireworks stand. Oh, that would really give me more time to eat pancakes. And that's all I really want to do anyhow. I wonder if they have pancakes in the Czech Republic. I can ask my parents when they get home.